So memory. Um, memory is super interesting. Now, um, at this point, right now, um, you guys are listening to me, right? Which means, so there is a sensory input which is coming to your ears, and there is a sensory input which is coming to your eyes. Okay, and because you're paying attention to that sensory input, that input actually is converted into what we call sensory memory. Okay, and I'll come to that sense what sensory memory is or whatever. Right? So we'll dig it up in detail later. But because you're paying attention to that input, it is converted into a sensory memory. Okay. Now, apart from me talking, I'm assuming there are other noises, other sounds in your vicinity, in your local area, which previously you were not paying attention to, right? So it was there, but your mind didn't care, and therefore your mind really ignored those sounds, those sights, right? And therefore those sounds, those sights, those touches were not converted into sensory memory. So attention is the primary reason why something comes to our senses and converted into sensory memory, right? Okay. Now, sensory memory are of five types, and you already know what sense is. So sense of touch, okay, sense of sight, sense of whatever, right? So sense of hearing, and there are words for it. I don't want to go in detail with those words. Um, so 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 the sound can be converted into a sensory memory, and that sensory memory, which means your ear has memory, your eye has memory, and I'll prove that to you right now. Okay. um, and that memory stays for between zero point 0.5 to 3 seconds, sometimes 7 seconds. So for example, if you pinch yourself, um, and then leave it, this sensation here will stay for about 6 5 6 seconds, okay, and then it'll go away. Or if you, and I'm jumping to the next slide, and I'll come back to this one again. If you look at this, okay, this is nothing but series of balls, but this looks like the ball is moving, but ball is not really moving. I'm just hiding and showing only one ball at a time. And because your eye has a sensory memory and it remembers the zero point 0.5 seconds, the fifth second, zero point 0.5 fifth second of that data, it's your brain sort of connects the dots, and it shows as if the ball is moving. But in reality, this ball is not moving. So this is the sensory memory, by the way. Okay. Okay. Um, Let me go back. Okay. So we have sensory memory. So your eyes, your ears, your taste, your skin, all that has sensory memory, right? And then if you pay enough attention to the sensory memory, the sensory input that you just got, that memory can be converted into a short-term memory. Okay, and short-term memory can also be called as a working memory or whatever. There are multiple people but saying multiple things. Now, this short-term memory is good for about 15, 20, 30 seconds, okay, depending on what type of input it is. Um, so if it's a sight input, you could remember something, you could remember a word or a number for some time in your sensory memory. I'm sorry, in your short-term memory, and then it poofs because something else, take over that space. So you only have a limited space in sensory memory, and we'll look at in your short-term memory, and we'll look at that in little detail, and we'll see how you could use this um, to improve your designs. Okay, so we'll look at that, and then if you again pay enough attention to that short-term memory through different ways. For example, rehearsals. You could then convert that short-term memory into a long-term memory. Okay, and then a long-term memory can stay up to, I don't know, a lifetime probably. Okay, um, so so that's how memory works. Okay,